The big question is right now, what does Hollywood look like after these strikes? Because I'm not sure there will be a Hollywood after these strikes. Because there's more issues in Tinseltown than the issues brought up by this industrial action by the Writers Union and SAG-AFTRA. Yes, artificial intelligence and its overuse is an issue. The fact that they never negotiated with their talent a new normal in terms of streaming is a huge issue. But you and I both know the issues in Hollywood today are deeper than that. The era of the movie star is dead. If I asked you what projects you were looking forward to, you could reply to me just like that. But if I asked you if you were confident that they were going to be entertaining to you, you wouldn't be able to answer that question. Because I'm going to tell you what you're thinking right now. That you no longer trust the entertainment industry in Hollywood. And one thing we always did as kids was trust these people, whether it was the Coen brothers, Richard Donner, so many different talents that I grew up with, and a lot of you from my age range and my era of entertainment grew up with. We never had any doubts when Richard Donner was making Lethal Weapon, Lethal Weapon 2, Lethal Weapon 3. Obviously, Lethal Weapon 4 isn't as good, but compared to the shit we're seeing today, it's fucking amazing. So we have no trust. There are huge issues ingrained in Hollywood today, and it's getting worse and worse. Most of the people working in Hollywood today have no business doing so. In fact, me and you, are more qualified to make the big decisions in the Hollywood entertainment industry than these people. I kid you not. I am not being facetious, because what we know, what they don't know any longer, is what we want, what entertains us and what doesn't entertain us. This industry has become authoritarian. It has become overtly political. And the last priority of New Hollywood is entertaining you. And let's be clear here. Entertainment and making money from entertainment is their business. So right now they're on strike, which is really bad. They can't even promote movies. The problem is they are in a situation today where they need to be working. The industry needs to be working. They were hugely damaged by the COVID pandemic because they thought that was their big opportunity to embrace streaming so they could lock us all up in our homes, right? Wow, wasn't that an opportunity? And they failed. Streaming failed. Streaming was not the future they foresaw. Disney Plus did not destroy Netflix like all the shills said it would. And right now, you as a consumer of entertainment, what do you have to look forward to? An extremist Barbie movie. Basically using Oppenheimer as a crutch. A crutch, people. Because basically, Barbie is the most overprotected movie of all time. Whether you're entertained by it, whether it makes money, whether it doesn't make money, it really doesn't matter. I mean, maybe Barbie can prove that being woke doesn't mean you go broke. Maybe it can prove that you can be woke and entertaining at the same time. That would be good. It doesn't mean I want to see a new era of totally woke movies. And we're still obsessing over politics and feminism and asking men if they're a feminist. Because they're not the biggest issues of our world. I want to feed people. I want the world to survive this cost of living crisis. Because these people working in Hollywood saying, we need to make more money. You don't know you're fucking born. I know people who can't feed their fucking families, and you're out there talking about more money for this, more money for these residuals. Your community is ingrained in greed. And it's not just about the CEOs making far too much money. You actors, you producers, you directors, and you writers, you activists, you're all part of the problem. I see you on your picket lines, and it's a parody. Hollywood has become a parody. And I don't see right now how this industry gets back to making great entertainment and making money for itself. We want you to make money. The only way you make money is if you make good shit. You are no longer, making good shit. We have become a kind of industry that's a joke to the Asian entertainment industry, a joke to Bollywood, who know how to make great movies. We have betrayed our independent entertainment. Disney, WB, taking those movies out of screens and taking those screens for themselves, like a 30-stone person who needs 4 chairs on the fucking aeroplane. Sorry, I'm not fat shaming. I'm just giving you an analogy. You killed your own industry because you didn't realize that the independent film industry is the bread and butter of entertainment. We need indie writers and directors to make their shit because they have the aspirations and the imagination to give us new talent and new ideas. And Hollywood betrayed that for the MCU and the DCEU. And most of that was very, very mid. People say to me, aren't you fed up of CBMs, Mick? A good movie is a good movie. And just because, something's a CBM, it doesn't mean it's automatically good or automatically bad. All we need is a variety of entertainment, whether it's high profile, expensive entertainment or low budget indie movies, right? It's about talent, having talent in positions, not activists. Activists have taken over entertainment and they have zero motivation into creating something amazing, into creating something with their talent and their imagination. And it's damaged because I have been involved with this industry, in the background, of course, for a very, very long time. As a child, I've told you this before, my dad took me to the sets, especially in the UK. A lot of huge television shows, for example, I was there watching them being made. Things like Minder, things like Only Fools and Horses, pioneering television series, because the motto of entertainment in really the 30s to, I suppose, the late, 90s was you can't make an omelette without breaking a few eggs. That's the only way you can make great art. And now they don't want to break those eggs just in case they offend anyone. You can't make great art. You can't tell good stories without offending people, without breaking those eggs. But we live in an era where we've allowed the insane to lead us. And that is the damage that's happening in Hollywood today. The likes of Mark Ruffalo, who's not a particularly great actor, average at best, but all he's interested in is his politics. I'm not necessarily thinking his politics are wrong, I'm just not interested in politics. I'm interested in entertainment. I'm interested in a distraction away from my mundane real life. We all are. We come home from work or whatever we're fucking doing and we want a distraction. We want an escape. We want the escape, and our children and their children's children will want an escape. And they're not going to get it. So this industry, and if we're talking about particularly Hollywood, Tinseltown, is in trouble. It's never been on its knees so far deeply, ever, within its history. We'll always have the memories, we'll always have the great films, we'll always have Harold Lloyd, Chaplin, Laurel and Hardy, Lucas's Star Wars, Superman the movie. But now there's people in this industry, as I've said to you, have no right being here. It's very, very interesting when we whittle off directors, writers and actors and we talk about them like they're something special. The truth is, if they were of age, back in the 30s to the late 90s, they wouldn't even get a job as a cup holder. That's the truth. And the level of talent in this industry today is far beneath the talent we had when we were growing up and before we were growing up. Don't forget, when I was a kid, I was watching Laurel and Hardy shorts and movies. They were long dead when I was watching, and I thought, thinking to myself, wow, this is so funny, this is so great. They're not trying to be political, but they are two struggling guys trying to find work in a struggling time. So the commentary is done automatically. Men used to travel together to get jobs. That's what they used to do. The world was very different, but you can tell, you can make people laugh about, with two guys living in Depression era. And you look at those guys and you look at the stories of, Oliver Hardy and Stan Laurel, and you can see that they're still friends. They find happiness when they're eating food. We see Ollie eating steak. Yeah, the guy's eating steak. But you see, the world has changed, but that necessarily doesn't have to be a bad thing. And as we've seen the world change, and if you know your history, you start to ask yourself a very big, fundamental question. Are we truly an evolved society? Are we more evolved than the people who came before us? And the answer is very depressing, because we are not. Because society has devolved. As we sit behind a computer, as I'm doing now, talking shit about this, that, the other, and not interacting with real people, humanity has lost something. And as filmmakers in Hollywood go onto Twitter and listen to the advice of people who know jack shit about what makes a good movie, you are in this position to make entertainment. Ignore them. Drop the test screenings. Make your movie. Make your damn fucking movie and release it. Take a risk. Be brave. Be bold. And that's what entertainment has lost today. I may sound angry and frustrated, but the truth is I'm highly amused. I find it more funny than tragic, because I've told you before, I have hundreds and thousands of television shows in my cabinet over there, and movies and cartoons that I can watch any fucking time. I have the pinnacle of fucking entertainment. It's you, Hollywood, that have killed the jobs and careers of future actors and writers, because you brought in these activists for a new normal. How does it feel that your industry is in the pinnacle of being finished? That you finished this industry, an industry that was high in the hog, the envy of the world. Your television shows like Dallas, Dynasty, Knight Rider, Kojak, Knots Landing, your movies. And I could reel thousands of great movies. Even the ones that are not the greatest and not spoken about are still great. But now we are about a few days away from the release of Barbie. An absolute fucking joke. A disdain, a disgrace, a stain on the good name of Hollywood entertainment. Because very little talent has gone into making that. And that, my friends, is the truth. As I said, this is a film that's hitched a ride on a biopic, an epic, outstanding biopic. Barbieheimer. Imagine how desperately, creatively bankrupt you must be to need another movie to make you a hit. And because of Oppenheimer and this Barbieheimer thing, that film is going to open to over $100 million in its opening weekend. All because, not because it's a good movie, because it found a tactic to ride the coattails of another movie. There's no pioneers anymore. They fired the pioneers for hugging and cuddling too hard. And this is where we are today. And as I look at the picketing, as I see the discussions and the issues raised by this industrial action from the Writers Guild and SAG-AFTRA, I say, yes, you're right. There are serious issues. But when I see influencers like Matt Ramos telling me to support SAG-AFTRA and the Writers Guild, let me be clear, I don't take orders from anyone who's shorter than me and is a lesser lover than I am. At the end of the day, I've been around this game for a very, very, very long time. And as I say, I have never seen the industry so desperate before. And when something is so hugely broken, you must take a bulldozer to it, destroy it, and rebuild it again. Because if they don't, if they believe they can carry on the way they're doing right now, there will not be a Hollywood. And we'll be living on the fumes of their memories.